Dr. Ashok Vaidya is a director of Bhavan's Spark, and he is directing multi-university team and chairman of the Pharmaxil Committee for medicinal plants and related value-added products. Ashok Vaidya has a master's degree in internal medicine and awarded with doctorate degree in clinical pharmacology, as he was the Merck International Fellow in clinical pharmacology at Yale University School of Medicine. He is a pioneer in establishing evidence-based therapeutics in India and has initiated the reverse pharmacology path into new and natural drug development. He has 250 research papers to his credit, and his area of interest is diabetes mellitus, malaria, cancer, and neurodegenerative disorders. He is a recipient of various prestigious awards like Professor K.N. Udupa Award for Excellence in Research and many others to his credit. He is on advisory panel of various autonomous and government bodies. May I request you, sir, to please brief us regarding SWOT analysis to deal pragmatically with cost-effective and time-bound execution of the research projects in Ayurveda. Sir, please.
Dr. Valyathan and friends, the title of my today's talk is very different than what I used to usually focus on. It is Pragmatism for cost-effective research in Ayurveda. We need both pragmatism as well as cost effectiveness. Yesterday you learned that to develop one drug, it takes $1.2 billion and 15 years of effort. India can never even afford a fraction of it. That's equivalent to an entire budget of many of our industries, our CSR budgets, ICMR budgets. That we focus on cost effectiveness and pragmatism. Research does not start except from ideas. And Einstein once said that ideas come from God. And God has no intellectual property rights, no patent rights. And this is what another thing Einstein said, is that most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may as a rule be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. I think Ayurvedic language is comprehensible to millions of Indians, and now it is getting comprehensible over the world. So if we start with simple ideas, that doesn't mean that it prevents us from putting our ideas and our plans to some scrutiny. Any project that is planned at the national level, Dr. Valyathan is involved with some of the 5-year plans. I was involved with CSR next 5-year plan. Bhushan and several others were involved with Ayush plans with Dr. Lavekar. We must see what are our strengths. Our strength is that our motivation for research is very weak. Motivation to work is very strong, but there is a lack of PLT. PLT means principles of leadership and teamwork. We have not yet learned to work in a network where the leader actually follows the people on the bench. R&D infrastructure, excellent. In this nation, we can compete with the best of the world if we work across academia, industry, and government labs. The financial outlay, as you heard from the Planning Commission member yesterday, is also getting raised tremendously. It's only a matter of writing good projects, getting good people together. You won't have any dearth of at least sufficient money cost effectively. Nimitly mode, Dr. Mashalkar mentioned about the effort that Dr. Kazi, Pushpangadan, Bhushan, myself, and many of our colleagues have done in New Millennium Technological Leadership of India. To the extent that this is the first time in the world that about 40 institutions across the nation in industry, academia, as well as research centers and Ayurvedic colleges are working together. And you know it's not easy job. That's why the PLT part becomes extremely important. We are very weak in basic research in Ayurveda, particularly in Ayurveda, because what Dr. Shriram Sharma said yesterday, आपको जो करना है करते रहो, हम तो चलाते रहे हमारी गाड़ी जैसे हमारी चले. That is not on. From today we have to decide that youngsters are so keen to learn new things, you cannot restrict them from any science they want to learn. Because Ayurveda has fundamentals which are even broader to guide basic research. Deliverables have to be not vague at all. And individual initiatives, sir, should be really, there should be scouting for individual initiative. I don't know, Ashwin, what was the name of that boy who did from Shushruth the formula of baldness. Now, his method was not good, but he could grow hair. I have not benefited from that gesture. But I think that there are people doing, today I was listening to just castor oil and Sunthi, outstanding results. There are leads which have to be picked up, they have to be given a network program, and then it will become a strength. Opportunities are immense, I will come to that later. Global demands, this is knocking on the door. Global demands on Ayurveda are beyond even Ayurveda's current comprehension. New disciplines can emerge from Ayurvedic research. We have not to apply current disciplines, you can develop new disciplines. I'll tell that later. Most important is that India is becoming truly a knowledge society. And as Mashalkar said earlier, knowledge and wisdom, how they have to be integrated. Threats are many. I will not go into the details, but the greatest threat is that we are not attending the needs of man in the street. And this conference should make a difference that common man's common day-to-day disease problems should be attended by science initiative. And what are the pragmatic choices and what are the science initiatives? India is suffering massively from iron deficiency anemia. 50% of Indians in general are iron deficient. 70% of Indian women and girls are iron deficient. Ayurvedic drugs, which were household in India, always contain little mandur bhasma, loho bhasma. These were part of most of the Ayurvedic formulations. We are using iron vessels for certain foods. We have moved away from that, and we have a pandemic in India of iron deficiency. So Ayurvedic ferrokinetics becomes an extremely important part of science initiative. And we have very simple economical measures which show the absorption rate, which shows that how the hemoglobin returns back, how the ferritin values come down. It will be a great initiative. Diabesity, India is declared as the capital of, world capital of diabetes. V. Mohan at Chennai has declared this. Actually, it's a very dubious distinction to be a capital of, world capital of diabetes. The other day I was watching from the front row, many of our Ayurvedic great leaders had also a big paunch. Now actually visceral obesity is killing India. And I would request the students who are so thin, lean and hungry, please exercise pressure on your teachers, faculty, parents if they put on weight. We want to reduce the obesity, so we'll have reduced diabetes, reduce cardiac attacks, and reduce cerebrovascular strokes. I'll mention about the Shatkriya Kal in terms of this little later. Cancer. We have too many claims that Ayurvedic drugs work in cancer. I personally feel that I have seen remarkable cures in cancer. I have seen remarkable, equally remarkable failures with Ayurvedic therapy. It is time that a working group is formed to evaluate something which Urmila and Shardini did long back and they are still pursuing is Tinospora. To me, Tinospora cordifolia is one of the best drugs we should study in malignancy. They have initially studied in chemotherapy and they have found that how the neutropenia and neutrophil count doesn't come down. It's a dramatic work. They have shown the growth factor also increasing. But sir, I would request that if Tinospora is taken up at a national level like Nimitli, we'll have a world drug in cancer. Come to atherosclerosis, it is turning out to be inflammatory disease. Atherosclerosis is no longer only high cholesterol. It is the oxidized LDL and triglyceride which produce the macrophage reaction and the local inflammation in the intima of the big arteries and aorta. It is very vital that we have excellent Medohar dravyas and Shrothahar dravyas. So dravyas which are Shrothahar and Medohar, you can study them in atherosclerosis pharmacodynamically. Next two pragmatic choices are allergy and asthma. Urmila, Nirmala, Shardini madam, and they have done outstanding work on women in asthma. Now we all know that woman is used in asthma. What is the big deal? We are using it for centuries. But what they did was, they did the study of the steroid withdrawal. They could withdraw the steroids, decrease the dose by woman. It is desirable to understand, as sir saying, Ayurveda biology. The biology of woman is that you stimulate vagus nerve. When you stimulate the vagus nerve again and again and again, you download the vagus receptor because you have so much of acetylcholine flowing. Same time, your adrenergic goes upregulated. And in asthma, you have is acetylcholine receptor is hyperactive and beta-2 adrenergic receptor is actually hypoactive. So I would request Urmila to take up this and show clinically that woman is working through this modulation of the receptor. Then the world will wake up to us. Lastly, aging disorders. We had at Tambe's place, Narendra Bhatt, myself, Bhushan, so many people were there. Fadkeji also was there on Kaya Kalpa meeting. I challenge that if we do one Kaya Kalp in the world, one single well-demonstrated Kaya Kalp, it will be equivalent to the Manhattan experiment of nuclear explosion. And we have markers of aging now, and so it's not that you just take photographs of wrinkles disappearing and all. Tapasviji Maharaj and this Ashwin and myself have put down in the evidence-based article of ours published by Nisker. He lived up to 186 years, had undergone 3 Kaya Kalpas, and all records are kept about what happened when he was doing Kaya Kalpa. I think, sir, that this would be a science initiative if we demonstrate one case that yes, Kaya Kalpa is genuinely possible if done properly. There are some fundamental ideas in Ayurveda. I think we should not apply disciplines of modern science and technology to study Ayurvedic problems. We must start from Ayurvedic fundamentals. So the human nature as understood in Ayurveda is not understood by any system of medicine. No system of medicine has Katidha Purushiyam. All of you read in Charak Katidha Purushiyam. It's a fantastic description of the nature of man. And Sankhya Tattvas are not just theoretical descriptions. They are to be experienced in your own internal reality and reality of the patient. Same way, health harmony. When you say Samadosha Dhatu Malakriya and Sama Agni, it is a loaded sutra. You have to exactly, precisely say how it is harmonizing, how the disturbances are balanced in terms of orexin. Orexin, the hormone in the hypothalamus, which increases your appetite. So when you say you have Vata Chadit Agni, you have false hunger, what is happening to orexin? Same way, disease Shatkriya Kal, I'll mention it little later, is a fantastic idea to work And in our Nimitli project in diabetes, we have brought it to a certain level of understanding. Lastly is how to manage the diseases. Current Ayurveda is only focused on Yukti Vyapashray. We have forgotten, I have 5 minutes to go, Dev Vyapashray and Sattva-Avajay. This together only was management in Ayurveda. So the Nidana was reversed. That Ayurveda we have to restore to its glory. This is my favorite slide. A human symbiont. We all think that when we think we, our body is made of 100 trillion cells, totally. Out of that, 90 trillion cells are bacteria. Only 10 trillion cells are us, the humans. And in these 10 trillion cells, there are 50 to 100 mitochondria per cell, which are again bacteria. So we are more bacteria. We are a Sangatan where our human mammalian cells, the Western attack is only on the bacteria as enemy. Ayurveda was treating bacteria as friends, mitochondria as friends. And I think the future research in mitochondrial functioning and the generation of ATP is where Rasayana is going to show activity. I will not go into the details, but I think there is so much of attack on heavy metals. But brain, what elements get concentrated on what organs is a fantastic area to correlate with inorganic biochemistry and with Rasayanas. Science has already shown some initiative paths. Paul Ehrlich said in 1908 that if morphine works in the body, body must be making morphine-like molecules. So if Vijaya, cannabis is working, body must be making molecules like cannabis, cannabinoids. Now it is called anandamide. That's the name molecule made, which is like cannabis. That he said earlier, we have not yet pursued it to its logical conclusion. Dr. Ranjit Roy Chaudhary mentioned observational therapeutics. We have fantastic therapeutic opportunities for serendipitous discoveries. And Ayurvedic pharmacology, Dr. Bhattavardhan and Dr. Rama Vaidya have proposed this, and 2 of our students, Nutan and Girish Tillu, are working on diabetes and arthritis. This area is very vital to support, as I mentioned, Planning Commission. Reverse pharmacology already been talked about by Dr. Mashelkar. I will not go into details. Informatics, Dr. Barkar is here. I think Medha is also here. And the entire group, Girish and Dr. Nanal and all, they've done a fantastic job they have done. It's a path-breaking thing which is it. I request all of you, please ask your institution to buy this IUSoft. It's a must for every institute. Now I come to economic perspective. Sir, give me a minute for this. If you delay Alzheimer's by 5 years in US, you save $50 billion. We can't even imagine what 50 billion converted into rupees comes to. If you have $50 billion saved, and if you have Haridra, which inhibits interleukin-1 beta in Alzheimer model, you have Smruti Sagar Ras, which Antarkarji was using, Brahmi, what are we waiting for? Can't we at least dedicate some 1 or 2 million rupees or even dollars for this 50 billion opportunity? Same way in cardiovascular, diabetes, hearing loss. There is a massive social cost of this chronic disease in US. And India, they are being treated. And I am glad that our friend from NIH, NCCM is here. We can document these cases, what is happening in India, and see the safety. And at least because nothing else is to offer to them, we must offer this. Lastly, Parkinson's disease. Myself, Antarkar, Dr. Norshid Vaidya showed mucuna pruriens is active in Parkinson's disease, and Jandu take it up and made Zendopa a drug out of it. I think that you can save $3 billion, and this is the first compound which has got phase 1 permission for Jandu because of the toxicity studies done at Jandu and is already under trials. I'm not going to go into details of this because of lack of time. I'll only spend some time on Shatkriya Kal. When you have Sanchaya, cellular accumulation of lipids in diabetes, Prakopa, cellular dysfunctions, inflammation, and adipokine release. Prasara is the circulatory distribution of these cytokines, triglycerides, free fatty acids, malondialdehyde, and then Sthana Samshaya in target cells and tissues, beta cells. Then you have Vyakti, manifestation of the disease, and advanced glycation products which get formed and you have complications. We have not looked at Shatkriya Kal vis-a-vis the modern pathogenesis. We will be able to guide modern pathogenesis by Shatkriya Kal of Ayurveda. I will not go into the other example. I'll just end with last two slides. Sir, before you coined the word Ayurvedic biology, I had long back coined the word cellular Ayurveda. And at NCCS, Amrutesh is working with some outstanding scientists, and we are working with several cell models to study Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande we know, but Yatha Koshe Tatha Pinde we don't know. Cell is the unit of body, and we must study at cell level our dosha dhatu, mala in its great details. Lastly, I am in a city where Tirak coined the word Ayurveda. Why he called it Ayurveda was that Veda becomes too much to be worshipped. And what you worship, you never challenge. In India, we have tradition. You worship your parents, you don't ask questions. He wanted to liberate it from this mentality of not asking questions. That's why he said the science of life, Ayurveda, can never attain finality. Therefore, humility and relentless industry should characterize your endeavor and your approach to knowledge. The entire world consists of teachers for the wise and enemies for the fools. Thank you.